If you represent an institution, in that order. Any person from Global University? Any person from Global University? English College? From Bronx. Thank you. English College? Sierra? Catran? I am surrounded from here.
Footballing great persons of Migori County. For the purpose of records, my name is Tony Obemo, Medical Chair of Continuing University Campus. I'm also an online, but from Rawson County, not from County.
Good morning, everyone. My name is David from Uya West. Also, I'm representing as a chairperson of Swahili Music Council. Excuse me? Talk loud.
I'm Kabuzi Masi. Good morning. Good morning. My name is Mary Achen. I am a teacher. I come from Sungai, Sub-County.
Did you hear what she said? Repeat, Samadali.
I am Cynthia Awolo.
Hamjambo, majina naitwa Aidan Roy, presenting the youth in the Chamber of
Excuse me. Just be honest, madam. Mwambie aongee vizuri tusikie. Morning everyone. I'm Ken Chilo from Migori sub-county. Good morning. I'm Sam Michin from Migori sub-county. Good morning everyone. So now we are at sub-county.
Good morning. I'm James from Provo sub-county.
Good morning. Thomas.
Morning everyone. Leader Newton, Tachia, ICT Department. Bwana Yesu asifiwe. My name is Stephen Kielo. How can I work with the subject? Morning. I'm John Marwa from ICT Department.
I'm Edwin Omondi, I'm ICT Attachment.
Good morning everyone. I'm Charles Kanyango, ICT Department.
John Vivian, ICT Department. Good morning, everyone. My name is Becky Isiko, Sub-County, Kuria East, Ward, Nyabasi East.
You realize the people from Korea are able to say which ward they come from.
Good morning, everyone. We are Morikan Moseka, Saratoga, Wood Bay Ward, and I represent African Center for Research.
Good morning. I'm Migori from Migori County.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Mwita Vincent. I work in a civil society organization called Tunaweza Empowerment Organization. Our office is based here in Migori County, but in Kuria West. That is the Bukira East Ward. And we are looking forward for a very fruitful engagement. I've been also part of the technical Migori County Youth Technical Working Group that has been part and parcel of drafting the first draft of the Migori County Youth Development Policy. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Bernard Nyamutieno, Ninth Sub-County, Sub-County, and I'm also a member of the Migori County Youth Forum. Where we are representing youth from Suga West or Wasibete Ward at the same time as we guys are talking about.
Good morning. I'm Rebecca Roberto, the Department of Roads and Transport.
Let's start from Adam. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I hope I'm audible now. Yeah, some of you are speaking as if they never ate yesterday. I'm Kiri Gadum, the capital of the Sudanese, where you are. Feel most welcome here, and feel free as you want to give us your views. Thank you so much.
Let me see by the show of hands. Wale wanatoka Kuria East. Kuria East, by show of hands. Kuria West, Suna West, Suna East, Uriri, Awendo, Rombo. So I also have that. Not mentioned. My name is Vitalis is the director in charge of sports and youth. And I have my colleagues here. Let them also don't have us here. And we have our expert who will be taking us through, and he's also our colleague. So I'll give Mr. Ben, who's the doctor of the youth affairs in the commissary.
Good morning, everyone. First of all, welcome to this very important event in our life. We have been a long journey anticipating for Migori youth policy. But in your presence here, I'm overwhelmed with joy, and I know we are going to make it a reality. I will have some other time to make my remarks, but I want just to say, welcome all of you.
Good morning. Just wave to me if you can see me. Are you feeling good? Thank you very much. My name is Dr. Joseph Kaguri. Dr. Joseph Kaguri is the Director of Education in the County Government of Migori. I used to say the new director, but then somebody told me once you exist in a place for over 3 months, you should drop the aspect of saying new, because you're now actually older. So I'm the Director of Education, and I want to say this initiative that you're seeing here today was actually long overdue. You are a youth in this county. You don't exist by chance, you exist because you deserve to be here. The county government is here, the national government is here, every other stakeholder here exists for you. Then as a modest youth in this region, sometimes your space in the decision-making process on the development issues, more so the issues that are directly linked to you as a youth, may not be very clear to you. So this process here today, I want to believe, is going to create a framework for all of us to participate, engage, and actually be part of the key decisions that happen from our departments that affect you outside there as a youth of Migori County. So I want you to be very keen in this process so that when you leave this place, you will know exactly why this is taking place. And if you are really bright, you look read between the lines of what is here and then look for opportunities that can directly impact on whatever endeavors you're doing outside there. I want to say I'm happy to see a brother from Naweza here. Naweza is one of the institutions outside there that I really respect for the work they do. They don't act like they are doing something. If you meet them, you see reality. You see an organization that is actually devoted and dedicated into doing what they are destined to have. Previously, I worked with you at Maeta Big Secondary School up to January this year. I crossed over and I'm here, and I'm also happy to have seen you here with us today. I heard you say you're also part of the technical team of
That started drafting this youth
Yes.
policy.
You are an asset for us. Karibu sana. So otherwise, allow me wish you a nice stay here, the fruitful engagement between us and you and them.
Nice, by the way. You know, it's fine. It's far on this side, and you look on that side. The people who are on that side look more beautiful than this one. You know, it's for obvious reasons, isn't it? You know the power of you. You know the power of you. We'll talk about that.
That's also is our chief officer.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Matthew. Before you is Jason Okot Yoga. Jason Okot Yoga is a resident of this county. I come from Gombo County, South Africa Ward. And as you told, I'm the chief officer for roads and transport in the county. Today I've gotten a very important opportunity to be together with you to represent the public in the public participation on very, very important issues that are going to affect the larger population. I think I was given time to introduce myself, thank you, and I want to welcome all of us. Thank you.
Mr. Degi, we also have staff from the Department of Education, Sports and Youth, gender representation. Please rise. Standing over there is Mr. Nansaka, who is the county sports officer. We have Isaac over there, is our welfare officer. We have Madam Pamela, who is a staff in the Department of Sports and Youth Affairs. We have Mr. Nyamari. Mr. Nyamari is in charge of visits, all technical visits that we have around. We have our communications lady there, Madam Faith. We have Mr. Deg, who is in charge of all the ECDs in the country. And we also have Madam Yvonne, who is our department enforcement officer. Is in charge of our facilities. We also have a very serious guy who is in charge of the this office, Manama. We have military, we have history is in charge of all the fishing and resource activities. So we have two programs. One program is going to be held in our end. So part of us will not be in this meeting, but we will leave you in the hands of the director and also director youth. I am the director education around the company. His Excellency Deputy Governor. Before I leave, I will say that it has been a long journey. You started developing this policy some times back, but dragged a bit. It has passed some stages, but the stage that it has reached today is very crucial. You have had some of us here by the technical team that were making this policy. So this is the last stage of this document. We would wish that we be very, very active when we do it. And if you have any suggestion on retail, you can always give us, because it's a document that will take us for a period of time, and it's also for posterity of the youth activities in Migori. This department is so big. You can see we have a lot of directorates. But youth, remember, youth cuts across. We have 10 departments. If you go to Department of Environment and Blue Economy, you find the youth issues there. You go to roads and public works, you find issues of youth there. You go to trade, you go to water. So you as our clients and stakeholders,
you really cut across and you belong to all the departments. So you will be inviting you more often to participate in such activities, like our sports policies in a draft form, and we want to go through the processes. Policies normally take processes, so stakeholders forum is very key, and we will also invite you when you are doing the sports policy. Without much ado, I wish you a good stay, a good contribution, and remember, you are part of us. We did our elections in 2022, and we only have one governor, who is Dr. Chilo Gobayako. Let us give him support that he deserves, and also, you must also know what we do as an account. Be informed about our budgets, about our fiscal strategy paper, all the documents, because most of you are learned people. So get close to us and get close to our documents. Our documents are found in the website. They are very open. You are allowed to critique, and you are also allowed to help us improve, because all of us come from Migori. Otherwise, thank you very much. I will hand it back to you.
Well, that is very detailed, very elaborate. We don't want to take much time, because we want to take you through the youth policy. There is also road and safety policy that we feel that we also need to actually look at it. So we will start with the road and safety policy, which will be facilitated by our friend, Wakili Philip Opolo. He will take the shortest time possible. He is a man of few words, but very precise. He will actually take you through it a bit. As we still wait for people to trickle in, then our friend, Vincent Okonya, will actually highlight all the youth policies. You can see his machines are ready here for the youth policy. So, karibuni, feel most welcome of you tomorrow.
So, good morning once again. I had said earlier that my name is Philip. I still remain the same. Let me start by saying this. I belong to an age group called millennials. And I'm sure in this group there are people who are millennials, but most of you are Gen Z. So millennials are people born from 1980 to 1995. So most millennials are now 45 to 31. Gen Zs are born 95 to 2012, so most of them are now 30 to 12 years. Now for so long, millennials thought we were the real people. We thought we were rowdy, we challenged all the conventions, we are the ones who refused to listen to parents. You know when parents used to say, these days children are difficult. But now before we could finish our game, another group has come and they now want to throw us out of the scene. So now if you are millennial, there is a tendency for people to make you think that you are too, that we should go home and leave the scene for who? The Gen Zs. Now let me tell you guys, for about 40 years, people like Raila Odinga, people like Tom Manya, Paul Mwite, they struggled so much in Kenya, leading protests against bad governance. But they were just a few people. Now, as they were aging, people were feared in this country that protests against bad governance may disappear as they disappear from the scene. Do you think we need to fear about that anymore? Now, the spirit of protest against bad governance has resurrected now not in the hearts of a few people, but in the hearts of a whole generation. Isn't it a good thing? Now, the other day, we saw the unfortunate, brutal murder of the innocent teacher, Albert Ojua, that we were told posted something on Twitter. We've tried asking, what did he post? Has anybody told you what he posted? We have asked, where did you record an OB indicating that he had committed an offense? Has anybody come out to say that?
we have asked them, which police officers received him? You remember the way they came out lying to us? ICOA came out lying to us. The IGO police, Kanja, came out lying to us. DCI of police, Amin, lying to us. And they were lying at all. So, as a lawyer, I will tell you, when you come to give testimony, you take an oath. An oath is a commitment that you say the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And if you say a lie and an oath, we charge you with a criminal offense called perjury. So all those guys should be charged with a criminal offense called perjury. So the young people of Kenya are coming into the streets protesting against violation of human rights and also protesting against bad governance. What have we seen? The police has responded by further unleashing extreme violence against young people. You see the guy who was shot in the head? Somebody just pulling a trigger and shooting somebody at close range. You also seen reports that Kenyatta National Hospital received 16 young people with gunshot wounds. 8 have been in bad condition, 3 were in critical condition, some were treated and released to go home. As we speak here today, young people across this country are still protesting against police brutality. I want to tell you this, young people who are seated here. In 1965, Nelson Mandela was about 41, 42, when he was arrested for forming an organization in South Africa called Umkhonto Wesizwe, the spear of the nation. At that time, the white apartheid regime in South Africa had made laws. These roads for white people, these roads for black people. These toilets for white people, these ones for black people. And in the facilities of white people, they would write placards like, blacks and dogs not accepted here. Now, Albert Lutuli was a chief at that time, just like Raila is now, a senior state person who had tried to fight against the white people. But young people there like Mandela, Robert Sizulu, Oliver Tambo, they felt that change was not coming at a good pace. That's why they formed the military arm of the ANC to fast track the struggle. So they formed the Umkhonto Wesizwe. Mandela was arrested in 1965. He was put to a very bad trial and sentenced to death. So he was sent to the Robben Island. Now, the day before Mandela went to the Robben Island, there are 2 statements he made which I want to make to you and let you know that those will be guiding principles in this time. Mandela said that young people have the power, when aroused, to bring down the towers of oppression and raise up the banners of freedom. That is Mandela talking in 1965. That young people can bring down the towers of oppression and raise up the banners of freedom. When Tom Mboya became a member of parliament, he was less than 30 years old. When Governor Ochilo first became a member of parliament, he was less than 30 years old. When President Ruto first became a member of parliament, he was less than 30 years old. Some of the most great people you've heard of in history, they did all those historical things when they were still living. Now remember the wise King Solomon. King Solomon in the Bible, I believe 90% of you are Christians. How many people are Christians here? Let me see the show. Even if you just write down your name. If you are feeling offended, you ask religion, Christianity. How many people do that? You don't have to be praying every day twice. Like Okati says, he prays in the morning and in the evening. How many people here pray in the morning and in the evening? Okay, I think it exists, don't pray a lot. But now, you remember King Solomon says, mkumbuke Muumba wako siku za ujana wako, kabla hazijaja siku zilizo mbaya, wala haijakaribia miaka utakaposema mimi sina furaha katika haya. Days are coming when you have interest in very few things except just your life, your children, and your family. But right now, you have energy to be involved in so many things, including in reforming your family. So let nobody discourage you as a young person. Come out, ask the right questions, demand for answers. I was once a youth.
You see these things you go to use. Huh? You don't know where to go. Unapata ka small room, unalipa 1,500, you don't know what to eat for lunch, or you don't know what to eat. Sorry, but maybe I should have done it. Time and experience will give you more opportunity. Just time and experience. As you grow older and as you know more people, as you get more experience, it will bring you more opportunity. So do not think that your circumstances as of now will be like that throughout life. Just by God keeping you alive on this earth, some opportunities are going to come. Right, Mama? David said God gives each person their bread and their appointed time. Do you believe that? So I just wanted to encourage you in those words. Today we want to take you through what we call Migori County Youth Development Policy. And there are members here who are participated in writing that policy. But there's another policy that we are almost publishing. It's called Migori. And I want you to be hopeful. Before you die, Mungu akujalia uishi up to 80. Before you die, we shall have changed this country in such a fundamental way that you will not recognize it. This hour, do you think they're going to stop us from getting what we want? They will not. Because we are seeing what China is doing. There's a country called Singapore, which became independent the same year as Kenya. Right now, they are doing mega infrastructure programs and unleashing a lot of wealth and taking their youth out of poverty. And you're telling us that here in Kenya we cannot open sewerage systems, we cannot provide. So before you die, we shall change the I hope that you will not recognize. Right on. So the transport and safety document concerning you a lot. See, there are youth here in Barabara sector. There are youth here in taxi sector. But you are also consumers of road transport things every day. Ukienda kwa hospitali utapata ile wing that is spared there for youth who have been involved in road accidents because of lack of safety. What you may. So I just want to give you an highlight. So if you want to try me, within 15 minutes I'm done with this one, because it's not the main one we are doing today. The one we are doing today is the one for youth, which concerns the records. So somewhere in 2023, in 2022, Migori County passed something called Migori County Transport and Safety Act. Here in Shapitishwa, it is now an act. It applies to all of us. Now, when you do an act, you are required to do regulations. Acts are usually very brief. They are not too detailed. So you are required to do a regulation which now gives a bit of details on how you want to implement the act. So section 48 of that act, which I don't have here, the Migori County Transport and Safety Act, compels the county executive committee member in charge of roads, transport, and public works to prepare regulations which will be used to enforce those provisions in that act. And so the relevant member has already prepared this draft proposal. We've taken this opportunity because there are youth leaders here who can. After I told you, the document is available in the website. So look at it, peruse it, find issues with it. If you find any issues with it, give us this memorandum, we will change. Because in my learning of law, we are advised that when you're making a piece of law, do not think that because you're in office, now you make laws that are not popular with the people, or laws that are oppressive. The principle of making law is that make a law which, if it is given to your arch opponent, your enemy, useme sasa wewe ndio serikali, mimi ndio nitengeneza sheria, nimekuja sasa ninaketi pande hii, now you are the government. Okay? Make law that if it is in the hands of your arch enemy, you still feel safe. You still feel safe with the law you made, but now it's in the hands of your arch enemy implementing it. That is why the Kenyan Constitution 2010, which most Gen Zs did not vote for, but which us millennials voted for, and it's a beautiful thing, it demands that we do not make any laws without what we call public participation. Because Abraham Lincoln observed these things many years ago, 1861, that democracy is a government of the people, for the people, and by. So now today we will by. So what do we have in this transport regulation and self-regulation? Number one, any piece of law gives you out the limit and it is just the definition of terms. The terms that are used there. So that is not important for us here. What is important is what are we trying to regulate? So part 2 of this document, I have copies. Do you give you a few copies of the rules as I told you? I don't want you to bother reading it, but just peruse. Go to the Migori Town website, get this document. We still have a few days running before we pass it. If you raise any issues, we will share. So the first part 2 deals with what we call provisions relating to matatu bus terminal. How many of you have gone to our what we call the bus stop? That's where you get your matatu. And then when you have a problem, you also see people who are picking alongside the road. If you knew you are white and you have a problem, you are almost hit by a matatu or a taxi when you are walking. So part 1 of this is just trying to explain for us the operation of matatus and buses. When you want to travel out in Migori, you want to go to Nairobi, you want to go to Kisumu, unatafuta those long distance buses. When you want to go to Kisumu within the region, unazile tablets, tablets, choppers. So we are trying to regulate them by number 1, ensuring that they have a system for picking their clients in an organized way. They also have a way of recording and reporting what time they leave and what time they reach their destinations. Mwai panda hapa unaambiwa tunaenda Kisumu. Alafu ukifika Awendo wanasema they are no longer going to. And then they say they want to transfer you to another vehicle. Na kama hakuna, they want to give you back to work. Do they give you enough there to take you to Kisumu? Wao ndio wanaamua, sio? Nasema unalipa 800, sasa tunakupatia 600. Unachukua 200 from Migori to Awendo. Now, you can't get another vehicle from Awendo to Kisumu at 600 shillings. So, we are putting very strict regulations here that they have a timetable. Ukiingia hapo kwa state, utaona wameandika timetable. ABC is leaving here at 10. It is expected to arrive in Kisumu at 3 hours. And it is not turning and not coming back this day until it reaches Kisumu. So that's a good thing, you guys. Yes. The other thing that we want from them is that they must file with the county government, Department of Transport, concerning who are their workers. Have you come to the state? Unadanganywa hapa gari imejaa. Umebaki janset ngapi? Alafu unaingia. Wanakuharakisha wakulipishe. Ukilipa tu hivi. Those clouds they all of a sudden get out of the road. Alafu umebaki sasa. Unataka iendelee hivi. So we want to try it. And by the way, the members of the transport sector wanataka hii tulipe. Because there are people who are genuinely doing transport business and they want order. Hao wakora wengine ni wachache. So by the way, it's not a majority of the transport. Mtu ameweka 2-3 million and they know that they want to do business. So we want to weed out so we are putting here an elaborate process of registering them and regulating them. Another section that we want to regulate with this document is, you already, some of you have, so that I tell you which page you look at. So we have already talked about the timetable. Now, you know the way these guys just park carelessly in town. We want to control that. We will not see them parking carelessly. And because we know there is congestion in the state there is a program coming up which will bring another good state for them somewhere near. So So that might increase congestion here, bottlenecks congestion here. But we want to decongest the town. Now, part 3, we are talking about provisions relating to taxi cabs. You see taxi cabs, seriously for Suma West, and then Upper Costa for Suma East. Taxi cabs do not have a lot of problems with taxi cabs, but now, internally, as a government, we need to regulate the operations of taxis. Again, people buy their vehicles, they put them on the roads here, they want order from us so that they can weed out. Now, the biggest problems we have with taxi cabs is that a few criminal elements. Every time a major crime is done, you will see that there was a taxi that was used. Mtu anakuja anangalia mtu wa taxi that he wants a self-drive. Wanaenda wanatumia commit an offense. Most of the time, we are not able to track down who is the owner of the taxi that was used to commit a crime. So, because of that, we need to regulate the taxi business in Migori very, very well. Then what we call parking. If you come into town today and park anywhere, they will arrest you. So you know how that is in town. They will arrest you. Now, we know that on our side as county government, and the chief officer is here, we are here to erect signages telling people where you can park and where you cannot park. Before the government can harass you, you are entitled to information to know that it is illegal to park here and it is okay to park in a particular place. So we are taking initiative on our side to do the demarcations, and then we subsequently expect everybody to be able to abide by the regulations concerning the parking rules. Part 4 of this document talks about, now that is basically parking. There's another issue. How many people here come from the sugar level? The guys who come from Migori, Rongo, and Awendo. You know the problem of those sugar cane products. Some people, they are on the road. Hakuna mataa ya mbele, hakuna reflector. You know that. So a bodaboda is coming, imebeba watu wawili, ile kona ya grade ile ya kona. Unapiga tu kona hivi unakuta moja imekwama. Ama hata imekwama, inaenda lakini inaenda pole sana. And all of a sudden you hit it from behind. You know, if you're on the road and you hit any object from behind, who is to blame for the accident? It is you who is coming from behind. But now the truck does not have any indicator. Ingine inakuja mbele yako and they have ama nadhani. So we are trying to put a regulation here. Limit the operations of the road from 6 in the morning to 6 in the evening, so that they are not on the road during that moment when they can easily go accident. By the way, most of the road accidents are between, let's say, from here to Rongo, as we exit Rongo to Kamagango TCC. Most of them have been, as I said, okay. Most of you are old enough. Before we got this road expanded, the TC, that is all expanded. You don't know how it was dangerous to drive on this. Not even to drive, even if you're in a public vehicle. Sazingine matatu has to stop by the roadside to allow a truck to pass. Kama ni mchana, we can survive with that. But usiku, you don't even know as you get out of the road to allow them to pass. You don't know how you will step out there. VAT cannot exist. 10% comes from a place called Malakisi in Migori, and 5% of which is Migori. But surprisingly, do we smoke a lot in Migori? Do we? No. So that is why the struggle to end tobacco farming in Kenya is difficult. Why? Because the farmers are not smoking. So you can't tell them about the dangers of tobacco. They're not seeing. You get it? Now the guys who are being told to stop smoking are not the farmers. CC, you want money. So we are number 1 in tobacco. Of course we are number. Do you know that Migori is number 9 in maize production? Number 9 out of the 47. That's why the national government comes here. So I don't want to take a lot of your time on this particular regulation, but I want to invite all of you as youth. And the youth will be that you take your time look at this document, and we've got info at Migori, we've got a lot of emails, and even today as we leave here, we give you contact, give us information. Now I want to appeal to the leaders. You know, sometimes the general citizen, we let the leaders also raise some issues. Yeah? So if you know you're a leader, in which small way, in whichever small way, don't let this opportunity pass before you give your view on how you want the transport sector. If there's anything that is not covered here, raise it. Now, I swear that transport and safety regulation is not my favorite topic. My favorite topic is youth development. But because I've talked about this too much, I will let somebody else talk about my pet subject of youth development. And let me open on youth development by saying this. This is where we come from. This world is run by an organization called the UN. Remember the UN? The UN was formed in 1945 after those devastating wars in Europe. They did want a third world war. Have you seen what Iran and Israel are doing? Do you think it could lead to a third world war? Have you seen what Trump is saying? That concerning beating Iran, what does he say? I may do it or I may not. So it is possible that the US may come in and beat up Iran. If the US beats up Iran, what do you think will happen? Russia will come up and also beat up Israel. So if Russia and the US come into a war, so you've got USSR versus USA. So that can easily be a third one. And by the way, do not be lying to us that because we have peace in the world for 75 years that we cannot go into another one. We can go into another one. First World War ended in 1996. And it killed more than 40 million at a time when the population of the world was just about 2 billion. Then people thought after killing 40 million people, it can never happen again. In 1933, Hitler becomes president in Germany. In 6 years, he mobilizes his armies. In 1939, in less than 20 years, the world went into another world war, which killed 50 million. Kenya tunapigana na 1,000. Right. 1,000 and 100,000 internally displaced. Wazungu, hao wenye wanatuambia they in 1945, they killed 50 million, out of which just about 5 million were soldiers. 45 million were civilians in Nagasaki. When America dropped that big bomb in Nagasaki, you may not have Nagasaki, that atomic bomb destroyed more than 250,000 buildings. If you go to how many buildings? Yes, sir. And they were not small buildings like this. 45-story buildings. 250,000. In 1945, after the war ended, the economy of Europe was 14% of what it was in 1939 before war. 14%. Watch out if we go by 2%, economy. So that is how bad it was. People were committing suicide. So at the world level, we have the UN. Now the UN has insisted that you cannot ignore youth. So in the SDGs, they have already put their youth affairs in the SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals. Then the UN has a charter for the youth. That charter forces the AU to have youth affairs in the AU Vision Agenda of 2063. The leaders know that very well. Then the AU also has a charter on youth. Are you getting where this youth issue comes from? Why there's pressure all over the world for us to have a youth issue? Kenya is a member of the UN, isn't it? Kenya is a member of AU. They are compelled there that we must deal with youth fairly. Because of that, our constitution in Article 55 is exclusively dedicated to youth. Government must pay attention to youth in all that we do. Now, because of that, the government of Kenya passed a national youth policy in 2019. And it is being followed by a bill. There's a bill that is almost getting through Parliament
which is dealing with youth. But if you look at what we call our Public Finance Management Act and what we call Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Act, it has a provision called ARCO. You heard about ARCO? Access to Government Procurement Opportunity. That 30% of all government procurement opportunities should be reserved for which people? Youths, women, and persons living with 30%. And the Auditor General is compelled to undertake audit every single year to tell us whether ministries, departments, and state agencies and now county governments are fulfilling the need to give preferential treatment to youths, women, and persons living with disability in as far as the opportunities are concerned. Now, to fulfill that, it is you guys who must raise your voice, especially through Senate, youth Senate, women, all these youth service organizations. Raise your voice. The Auditor General releases the audit report every year. There is a segment of the audit report telling whether organizations are mainstreaming youth, women, and persons living with. Hapo tumeelewana. Chapter 11 of our Constitution. When we constitute the assembly, we must nominate youths, we must nominate women, and we must nominate persons living with disability. In appointing positions in Kenya, Chapter 5 of your Constitution, Chapter 4 of your Constitution requires that 5% positions reserved for persons living with disability and opportunities available for youth. Now, Migori County, that's what we take for English for the document, which Vincent is going to talk about. Migori County is one of institutions that are bound by those provisions. Therefore, the department that is responsible for youth in Migori County, it has not, it's not, it was about to Nataka, we are compelled by law and international conventions to have a youth policy. For two main reasons. One, so that we can have a framework of engagement. Two, anybody who wants to work with youth in this county from outside, they easily find an entry point because there is a youth policy with clear vision, objectives, and how departments are doing. So I want my friend to now take you through some details. Gen Z youth scan is very small. I can talk already. Gen Z, your man Gen Z are not on Facebook. They are on TikTok, where if you're communicating anything, 2 minutes. If you have 3 minutes,
Joke.
if you have 3 minutes, I hope they wanted everything for 2 minutes. Now,
allow me just recognize a few people that have actually noticed around them in 1 minute. Allow me to recognize the technical working group. Just wait. The technical working group present in the room. Thank you. Allow me to recognize representative of the Youth Senate. Wawin. Allow me to recognize members of the creative art, TikTokers, artists. They call themselves the Young Famous Migorians. Can you just wave? You will get an opportunity to in the plenary to talk. Just wave. Allow me to recognize youth from all the sub-counties that are within here. Allow me to recognize members of Ajira Digital, led by Bibi. They're somewhere there. Karibuni sana. Allow me also welcome the modern beings present. All the sub-county admins I can see they are also present. Karibuni sana, admin. Our chief officer in charge of road is also present. Karibu sana. I now take this opportunity to officially hand over this baton to Vincent to take us through the remaining program.
Thanks a lot, Director Ben, Director Philip, for the opportunity to this policy presented to various and critical stakeholders for the county. So before I start, I want to introduce the members of the technical working group, where wherever we work, and we smart the logo. So we want to give you an opportunity just to introduce yourself. And I'll show you what you're presenting. And yeah. So Mr. Nasaka is our chair. So
I was chairing the drafting committee, chairing the subcommittee with Joseph So before I say something, let's start by the members introducing themselves.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Sarah Moko. By then, I was in the Ministry of Youth Affairs, National Government, and when I was in the technical working group, but now I'm a consultant. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Select Ezekiel. I support.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Migori. I work with the government organization.
Good morning. My name is Anna Boko. By then, I was working with LBCT Health. Currently, I am a consultant. Before that, I was working for PATH under USAID.
My name is Vincent Oja. I live on familiar place. Akina nani wananijua? Vincent Oja, I work with NGO based here in Migori.
Thank you. Just before he presents, I just want to give you a brief history of the youth policy. When the commission came in, we realized that the county government would not support youth activities and services properly because there was no writing document. So it brought a need that you see the thing that you are seeing here. And something that is very funny, during the corona, when people were locked inside, that's the time we did the first draft. We were locking ourselves at the apart offices. Very early by 6, by 9 we are done. So we could do a chapter per day. And the document you will see here today, we have summarized it. But the whole document, we even did the work plan, the activities that will accompany that work, that policy. Yeah, so there is something to do with training of the youth, ICT, agriculture, talk of anything, business, how they are supposed to be supported. We even a proposal of having a youth fund for the county itself. Because we realize that the youth, their main problem is funding. Source of income, source of funding to build their own business. So what you may not see today, will organize on how people have registered, how we'll send you the soft copy so that you go through it, because this is not the last time. And this aligned document, whatever shortcomings that it will have, it will still be reviewed. So welcome, Minister.
Thanks a lot. In total, we are 50 members. I believe part of the team is still joining. For me, Migori County, this is a dream county. Because from 2019, and now we are having our first participation with the youth stakeholders. And if you look at the representation of the technical working group, you'll be able to see youths within the technical working group. See here. So allow me to take you through policy in brief. I want to urge us to be able to take notes because I just want to rush through the policy very fast. So that at one point we'll be able to have a question and answers. Yeah.
Yes, good morning. All the government protocols of work, county government, and the technical working on this policy. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. But I am concerned because the advert, to be specific, says that the draft is already on the website. I understand as a consultant in British that I have led to the absence of this document available to us. But now what's our reference point, now that this is public participation? What are we referring to? You've stated that there could be other opportunities. But if you look at the date documented in the dailies, I think we have less than a week, if I'm not wrong, to do the submissions. And by then, up to now, we all agree that we have other people graduated to be used. And so I don't know how we will do it, but I think all these people need a reference point. Actually go through it briefly as you say it, but even we will do it later again, but I think we need a reference point. Secondly, I, as a member, an active member of the civil society and youth serving organizations, we are getting concerned by the matter at which how the Migori County government is handling public participation. We are doing well, we are progressing well, this is not fault finding, but we have to share and make public participation as it is stated in the guiding documents of this republic. And so, moving forward, let's do better as a county government when it comes to public participation. But we are doing well.
Thanks a lot, Brian, for that. I believe as we speak, there are copies that we have prepared, so at least we can have a few copies to look at. That information that in the Gazette might notice highlighted that the copy is in the website. But what is tricky is that we cannot have a draft copy in the website. And you all understand. So we only need to have final documents in the website for reference. So allow us to organize for a few copies. But in the meantime, we can be able to look at the presentation because the presentation carries everything that is contained in the policy. Pick the key areas of interest and then we have a larger opportunity to be able to give feedback to this policy. Remember, we are here because this is still the process of developing the policy. Strengthening the policy and making the policy better to respond to our needs as young people. We are not in the final stage. We brought you here so that we are able to look at the policy and look at whether the policy correctly aligns with your interests as young people. So you allow me to proceed. So remember the policy process started in 2019. We have been meanders across the years. And today we are here. The policy has gone through several changes, having been comments from experts and also stakeholders that brought us to this point. So this is Migori County Youth Development Policy 2025. So the policy as a goal is to promote the holistic empowerment and participation of youth in the socio-economic and political spheres for county development. And a vision where a society where youth have an equal and responsible opportunities to realize their full potential in socio-economic and political aspirations through honest and hard work. So the particular values that we have looked at, that we feel that this particular policy needs to reflect, patriotism. We all know and we all understand what patriotism is. Yeah. We are Kenyans and we have to take part in all processes that enhances our being Kenyans. Yeah. Respect for diversity and ethical values. We understand that Migori County is a cosmopolitan town. We have several tribes in this county, and we have to accept the diversity and use that diversity to be able to support our development. Equity and accessibility, we all understand. Inclusiveness, meaning we bring every other member of this particular county to take part in key processes that enhances their livelihood. Good governance, accountability, self-reliance, honesty, and integrity. And key principles that we have looked at is policy, responsiveness by the county, the needs of the young people that we are talking about. So government, private sector, civil society, police organizations, and non-government organizations in all relevant sectors shall respond to the needs and concerns of youth and act with an aim of harnessing their human potential for sustained development of the county. Access. Youth shall be supported and encouraged to access public services. Participation. That is why we are here. We need to increase youth participation in all processes that concerns their lives. Inclusion. Here we're talking about young people, people with disability, every other person that lives in this country must be included and involved to participate in county development processes. Integration. So involve youth in activities including government, private sector, civil society, based organizations, among others, shall be required to cooperate and coordinate their efforts to encourage synergy in supporting the development of youth and in helping them realize their full potential. Diversity as a principle. In designing implementation of the policy, the diverse background of young people shall be recognized and respected, including their role in emotional, cultural, social, spiritual development. Empowerment. So we all believe that youth need empowerment so that they are able to respond to the challenges that they are facing each and every day. So equality talks about us having us see ourselves as equals. So whether you are a girl or a boy, equality means that you need to have equal opportunities to participate. Transparency. Institutions and organizations involved in the youth development should operate in transparent and accountable manner. So these are the dimensions of young people in the county that we looked at. You can see, you look at the projection, you see yourself here. I believe we are youth from different categories. We have people that are on a center, senior. We have girls here, we have yes, male and female, senior. Educated and uneducated. In this county, we have youths that are born through the education process, and we have those people that are not born to school. Then we have rural and urban. We have people from Suna East, which is about senior, considered urban, but we also have people from Yate. Not from Yate, it's Wakopali. Yes. So we are considering both the development aspects of youth in urban centers and also development aspects for youth in rural setups. In school and out of school, we have those youths who are in school and we have those youths who are out of school. We have adolescents and young adults. Adolescents are people between the ages of 13 to hello? 13 to 22. 32. 9 to Physical challenge and audit. Physical challenge and then who disability and those who are considered without disability. Economically challenged and not, detained and not detained, migrant and non-migrant, skilled and unskilled. When we're talking about skills, we're talking about technical skills, meaning you have a particular skill that you are able to earn with. And those people who have, yes, they have gone to school, but they don't have a particular technical skill to be able to utilize for their development and income. So street and background youth, we have street kids. Kuna watu wameishi tu kwa street, hawana kwa senior. So we also looking at that, how to be through the streets and empower them so that they're able to earn decent income. Youth infected and affected by HIV and AIDS, unemployed and underemployed. We have those who are employed, but they are not employed in a manner that anybody could do. Underemployed. Yes. So if you look at the skills that you have and the salary you're being paid, it's not common. Yeah. And we have those who are not have employment at all. Then we have incarcerated youths who are in either prisons, ama what? Remands. Youth mining sector. Sisi kuna vijana wanachimba Migori. They also need to be looked at. Youth in ICT. I saw a number of people who are in social media as content creators, and also those who are taking up ICT jobs, to be able to improve their lives. Youth in fishery sector, young mothers, youth in Juakali and casual laborers, youth living with HIV and AIDS, that is category of youth, urban and diaspora youth, youth in leadership and governance, youth in disability, youth in border, intersex youth. Well, I believe you understand when you talk about intersex youth, you understand what I'm talking about. Seneca, you can be it's a new area in Migori County.
Yeah, intersex youths either can be even registered here in the born through the Italia. In 2019, the government conducted the census and they were counted. And these are bodies that are born through the Italian characteristics. However, there are many other characteristics of intersex that are standing up for the seats. But the most easiest way to understand it is the youth who are counted in Kenya in 2019 with two genitalias, both male and female. Get it right?
So sometimes dealing with these young people becomes tricky unless we create a policy that is able to address their needs. Because most of them, even if you go to the washrooms, you realize that only males and females. But however, we place our intersex. They neither male nor female. Why do we place them? So we need to start thinking as a county. Now we need to address these challenges. Then we looking at vulnerable and orphan youth in sports and creative arts, and youth in agriculture. So quickly to challenges affecting young people. We want us to be keen on this so that those particular challenges that we feel left out, we'll be able to deal. Youth in unemployment and unemployment, a vulnerable employment and working poor youth. Perhaps one of the technical working member can be able to explain that matter. Vulnerable. vulnerable employment and working poor youth.
That simply means a youth is ready to take up any job at any age.
Yes.
Because you are so desperate that you do any amount of money.
You are trained, you have skills, but you are not using the skills to be able to earn a living. See there? You are a teacher by profession, but because you have not got an opportunity to teach, you will be able to take up any available job. See there? So we'll have youth in activity or idleness, youth who are not engaged at all. Youth labor migration, where we have people moving from one county to the other. And some of these youths are skilled youths, which you can be able to utilize their skills to build this county. Lack of collaterals and bureaucracies in accessing loans. Health-related challenges, which is HIV, STI, and we also talk about FTP. Skill mismatch. Skills mismatch. Unaelewa? So the kind of employment you are engaged in mismatches your skill set. Large number of out of school youth. Low participation of youth in agriculture and economic activities. Vijana wataki kuenda nyumbani, sio? Ukisema hapo sasa hivi kuna goal. Hello. Si vijana wataki kujienzisha, wataki kuenda shambani. But this policy wants to make interventions, initiatives that will be able to make agriculture interests youth to participate as another income generating venture. How's that? So, early and unintended pregnancy, crime and deviant behavior, drugs and substance abuse, limited participation in economic and political spheres, limited access to safe public spaces, limited access to poor housing, limited access to information and technology ICT, cybercrime, sexual and gender-based violence, which values morals among youth and climate change. So this particular policy has been anchored in several legal instruments. Just as was highlighted by Philip. For us to have this policy, we must also look at legal standing of the policy. So we are looking at the Constitution of Kenya, which is a legal document that guides on how we need to address the needs of young people. Then we have National Youth Council Act, number 10 of 2009. We have the National Youth Policy, as was highlighted by Erica, 2019. We also have Vision 2030 and medium-term plans and other international conventions and treaties. So the policy has a total of 11 objectives. Objective number 1 looks at health, realizing a healthy and productive youth population. So we can only be able to work with youth who are healthy. We can only be able to invest and get results from youth who are healthy and productive. Objective number 2, we'll be able to look at providing mechanisms and measures to enhancing information and education and control of drug and substance abuse. Will you be able to have a healthy youth generation if they are absorbing drugs? So we need to talk about how do we control drug abuse among our young population. There are so many things that will pressure youth to get into drugs. And this policy hopes to tackle those particular problems so that we limit the number of youth that are getting into drugs and substance abuse out of frustration Build skilled, competent, and disciplined youth workforce. This is objective number 3. To create opportunities for youth to earn decent and sustainable employment. To develop youth talent, creativity, and innovations for wealth creation. So we're looking at your talents as young people. How is the county planning to be able to harness your talents so that you're able to earn income and also earn revenue for the county? So, number 6 is to nurture well-driven, morally upright, and ethical and responsible generation of young people. Number 7 is to promote effective participation and presentation among the youth through civic education. Number 8 is to promote secure, peaceful, and united county where the youth is left behind. Peace is very key because as we say that you are the majority. We are the majority young people. Gen Z na millennials pamoja ni wanarusha bali. Millennials na misakisa kila kurusha bali pale. Kwa sisi ndio watu wa kurusha bali. Sisi ndio watu wa kutumiwa na politician. Why are they using us? Because we are idle. Majority of us are idle. If you educate mtu atakuja kwa hiyo biashara yako akwambia anakuja kurusha bali. So we are looking at engaging more young people in fruitful employment so that we release them from the political chains being used by politicians to inflict. So to support youth engagement and environmental management for sustainable development. I know you the good things that you're doing around the environment. Empowering youth to take part in environmental management and also being able to earn income. So we are also looking at that at the county, both blue economy and green economy. To develop strong coordination and monitoring of Migori County youth development policy. So without good coordination, we will not be able to achieve. So we are within this policy, we are proposing the county development coordination mechanism that will be able to support in oversighting the implementation of the policy and also monitoring of the deliverables in each and every department and also across the state, the broader stakeholders. Number 11 is to establish a county youth empowerment fund, so that at least we can be able to harness or increase access of young people to loaning, not loaning facilities, but at least capital for business. Yeah. Within the policy, we also have, how do you call it? Mentorship and business incubation center. So priority areas that we are looking at: support youth in development, health and nutrition well-being, eradicate drugs and substance abuse, invest in education, training and skills development, institutionalize and certain apprenticeship and internship programs. So when I'm talking about apprenticeship, is about bringing youth to be able to take up trainings. Apprenticeship is the training, and on-job training. Internship is where you come already learned, but you also know what you want to build skills in a particular area. So, address youth unemployment and unemployment and inactivity, build capacity of youth in fully integrated in the county technological transformation, ensure sustainable financing of youth programs, transform agriculture and make it attractive to young people, lastly to promote entrepreneurs, training, mentorship, internship, attachment, business incubation, financing and partnerships. Strengthen frameworks for labor exports. So we are looking at how do we build the capacity of our young people who are learning that we can able to export their skills to other counties and earn revenue of the country. county. Support labor management information systems, support creativity, talent and education and innovation development, encourage positive morals, values, patriotism and voluntarism, for transformative leadership, support effective civic participation and representation, so that we have young people participating in all the processes in the county, promote a crime-free, secure, peaceful and cohesive county, promote mechanisms that support youth engagement, development, protection and conservation of natural resources and environment while engaging in eco entrepreneurship and green jobs, and build capacity of youth in green processes, technology and waste management. So we have other objective 1 is where now we break down each area objective and priority activities within each area objective, so that we are clear about how we are to implement the policy, what are the priorities for under each and every objective. So we are just the key, because this is the implementation strategy for the policy. Thumbs up. So under healthy and productive youth population, we are looking at develop and implement measures to improve nutritional, physical health and well-being of youth while mitigating on communicable diseases. Activity 2 or strategy 2 is to develop and implement measures to improve providing services for information and education on sexual and reproductive health, HIV, any retrogressive practices that may be injurious to wholesome health of young people, including FGM and early marriages. Why are we looking at this particular intervention? Because we understand that even in our health system, it is not responding to the needs of young people. See them. How many youth-friendly health service facilities do we have in the county? Who knows? I only know of one in Rwanda, which is a private facility. So we also need to look at how do we respond to the needs of young people to be able to access health services and facilities without having to go to mixing with other because they are. Do they feel safe to be included with others? Do you feel safe being included with others? Especially when you are accessing reproductive health services. Yeah?
Thank you. You see now, that's why you see, if I'm not wrong, the draft could have been developed 5 years ago. You did it. And now, I'm sure amongst your colleagues, we are aware of the government services integration, especially in the Department of Health. And so that clause there needs to be looked at, and Gloria will advise accordingly.
So if you look at this policy, remember, this policy will belong to the youth department, but also signals other departments respond to the needs identified in the policy. Because youth department is the overall department that looks at the needs of the youth, the young people in the council. But here we'll be talking about things that respond is supposed to be done by a particular department, maybe Ministry of Education, Ministry of Environment, Ministry of Water, but they are all geared towards empowering young people in the entire county. So as we speak, we need to look at whether there's a policy in Ministry of Health that responds to having a youth-friendly service center, or service facilities within the county. How many do we have? So that each and every policy it addresses have a good environment for young people in the county. Yeah. So it needs to also look at whether the Ministry of Health is responding to this policy. So they will be keeping checks. So others information, communication and technology platforms in healthcare delivery targeting young people. Objective number 2. Reduce youth vulnerability to alcohol and drugs and substance abuse in young people through prevention, management, and rehabilitation initiatives. So we are looking at establishing and strengthening comprehensive mental, emotional, and spiritual support programs to facilitate achievements of full potential of young people. Develop and implement mental measures to providing information and education on control of drugs use and substance abuse among youth. We are looking at increased understanding of alcohol and substance abuse impacts of young people in school and out of school through community education, sensitization, lobbying, and advocacy. We are looking at empowering youth in school and out of school through right-based approaches to understand all Alcoholic Drinks Control Act and effective engage in the banned production of illicit pre-use and drugs abuse. Objective number 3, we are looking at building a skill. Build skilled, competent, and disciplined youth workforce. So 1 is to develop and implement initiatives that utilize both formal and informal education, training, and skills development channels, and mutually reinforce and enhance youth education progress and attainments. So we're looking at our education systems, including vocational, technical training institutions, whether they are able to support us in bringing out youths that are skilled enough to be able to utilize those skills for their own empowerment. And institutionalize and strengthen apprenticeship and internship programs. So through private-public partnerships, we are looking at the county developing memorandums or agreements with stakeholders across the county to be able to absorb youths from vocational trainings or train youth that have skills to be able to take up apprenticeship programs to be able to obtain from private sectors. We have shown those companies, we have hotel businesses across the county. If the county has already an agreement with them, they'll be able to take up a number of young people and train them on particular skills so that at least they also contribute to skill building of young people there in the county. Enhancing early investment on ICT skill development of children and interface of youth in ICT. So ICT is a new area. And many young people, knowing or knowing are in ICT. Currently, AI is the agenda of the day. We have so many people developing websites using AI, developing businesses using AI. So that is a new venture that the county wants to take up so that we bring more young people who are interested in knowing and understanding AI and utilizing AI or ICT for that matter to be able to generate revenue for themselves. So enhancing access to ICT infrastructure across all sub-counties. So we are proposing that the county, through the Department of ICT, will be able to develop ICT apps. That will be more clear on the work plan. It's more clear on the work plan, the implementation plan, that we will be able to also share. Not in this forum, but after the end of the policy. Capacity building to integrate youth into county information communication and technology transformation. Objective number 4. I don't know whether we can write somewhere so that we can take questions after that we are looking at the time. Is that okay? I can take this one first. And I'll put all the other questions kind of just right now. We will then and respond later.
Okay, I just go back to point number 4, the other part. Okay, my name is Migori, I do secretary empowerment. So if you go to point number 4, it says that enhance access to ICT infrastructures across all the sub-counties. So my problem with the access is the same as the technical schools. They are there, but whatever is offered is not fully. So the ICT hubs can be there, but the services, maybe the internet and maybe whatever that is required in the ICT hubs for them. So if it can be maybe access the quality could be better, so that you can use it to do whatever is to do in a meaningful way.
Thanks for the addition. So we need to also look at the quality. It may be accessible, yes, but does it offer quality? So we will expect next. Very smart app. So here we are looking at number 4. Create opportunities for youth to earn decent and sustainable livelihoods. So one is to address youth unemployment and unemployment and inactivity. So second one is to ensure sustainable financing for youth programs. We're talking about financing. So how many young people are not able to start up business because of lack of capital? They have the idea, but how to start up, they initiate that idea becomes a challenge because there are and then this one is also talking about land access and ownership. Unaweza kuwa na shamba but ni ya baba yako. 23 acres. Ukipanda miti mpaka kwa mtu, baba yako akitaka kukata miti unakundi mpaka kule unapata miti yote. So as you have access to the land, you also need to also have access to control and ownership of that property. As a capital. So we are looking at transforming agriculture and agribusiness to make it attractive to young people. Remember we spoke about moving from the older ways of doing things to now the new Gen Z way of doing things. Sindio? Yes. So kuna ukulima wa kisasa. Si ukulima wa wakati. So how do we bring young people to be able to be interested in farming as a business? That is what the policy is talking about. So, position youth at the forefront of agriculture, growth and transformation, so that they're able to think about the new ideas. When you're developing the agricultural policy, how do you bring in young people to participate and bring in ideas of transforming the agricultural sector with the current technology, with the current concepts, and the current ideas? So, identify and address the fragility and increasing vulnerability for young people in agriculture and enterprise. So even those who are engaged in agriculture, like my friend Moyano, there are certain vulnerabilities. Sindio? Hakuna insurance, umepanda eka 3, ukame imekuja, hiyo yote na floods zimekuja, so those particular vulnerabilities, how do we address such things so that even those youth that are engaged in agriculture are covered so that they don't lose their or investments within the process. So promote a culture of entrepreneurship among the youth through training, mentorship, and internship, attachments, business incubation, and partnerships. That was the job. Objective number 5 is to develop youth talent, creativity, and innovations for education, where we're talking about development and develop, promote, and implement strategies for incubation of new innovations through the youth. So, mapping, identifying talents, and being able to support mentorship of those talents to avoid that they can use those particular talents and so we spoke about the county being able to develop youth business incubation centers. So we are able to identify those talents early enough, being able to mentor those particular individuals within their talents and make those talents earn income for them. So objective number 6 is to nurture value-driven, morally upright, ethical, and transformative generation. Here we are talking about strengthening the family unit as a basic unit for its integration and value transfer. So as a country, we also need to look at which kind of young people are we bringing up. The family is the smallest unit in the society. Parents work. If you look at yourself, you realize that the kind of reasoning that you currently have has been instilled by the parent patterns. The parent plays a very big role in the discipline and the behavior of the children. So as a country, we don't want to instill this so that we don't work from the top, but we work from the home. How do we educate our parents? Our cultural custodians to be able to instill positive values in our society and family care, so that we don't deal with issues that needed to have been addressed. Training an individual that was empowered at childhood becomes easier at this level. Kama yakuwa trained huko chini utakutana hapa nyuma. So we need to take up responsibility as parents. So this policy also looks at empowering the parents to take up their responsibility as parents, so that they bring up youths that can be able to work to benefit the family in many other ways. So strengthening the family unit as a basic unit of socialization, value, and value transfer. Utilization of ICT and social media space to further enhance the values and morals of young people. We also taking cognizance that social media is a very instrumental tool to be able to pass information, positive, value-driven information to young people, so that as they grow through the particular values that we want to entrench. There are many ways we can use social media to influence positive values. So the county can be able to at least enhance that. We also looking at radio. There are so many other radio stations around the county. How can we utilize those radios to transfer the values that we want? So promote effective civic participation and participation among the young people. Wangapi wanatamani kukua kwa political processes kama MCA? Wangapi wanatamani kusimama kama MCA? Hakuna? At least kama ni nini na kuzoea kusimama kama MCA? Pesa. Pesa na nini tena? But so we are looking at empowering our young people so that they are able to rise above the challenges. So we are able to rise above the challenges, but by creating awareness to our society, so that money does not become the first thing they look at. They look at the capacity and the ability of a particular individual to change them. Or transform them. The greatest result is the idea. An inclusive and engagement of the young people. We are looking at entrenching values, contributions, and volunteerism. Youth must learn to volunteer. What's up? You must learn to volunteer. That's why we have, at the national level, we have NYS. National Youth Service. It's a voluntary platform. So through the platform, they are able to be trained on particular, on very various skills. So we also think in the county to have a county director will be able to add on that. We'll be able to have a county youth service. Yes. Syria. So that we
go to chapter 4 of the document.
Yes. Sawa. So, support voluntary participation in community activities. We be able to enhance youth participation through voluntary programs so that they're able to improve our communities. Youth mainstreaming and inclusion in policy planning and budgeting process. We also talked about the policy. Chapter 8 talks about promoting secure, peaceful, and united county where no youth is left behind. And the activities or strategies under this is working with creating community and green jobs. So here it's more broken in the work plan. We are looking at both the blue economy and the green economy. How many opportunities are there within the green economy? We understand the green economy. When I'm talking about green economy, I believe we are all the same platform. Green economy is all that we can do in line with the environmental management that is on the land. Yeah. Okay. You can be able to explain why you are a farmer. You're more of a farmer than you. So green economy is about utilizing what we have in the environment to be able to develop enterprises. We have a lot of things from the plastics that we use on a day-to-day life. We can be able to transform those plastics into a business. Transforming waste into businesses. We can transform waste into fertilizers or manures. Accept. So when we talk about green jobs, it's about jobs that we get from circular economy. How's that? Okay. The blue jobs is about the sea, the lakes that we have. How we can utilize the lake to earn income. This is strategies for lakes. Consider. You can have what young people participating. Kwa nini hawa wakujio tukawacha wanautilize lake na tuko tu hapa? Tungekuwa na at least vijana kwa wako na cages pale Nyati. Wana harvest. Sio? Hata we can even have makampuni za kufanya vile. Sasa vile tunaona ni fish processing. We have a lot of opportunities that we need to do what? But because hatujaambiwa those opportunities exist, ama we lack resources to be able to engage, ama we lack particular skills that enhances our engagement. Now tumekaa, si ndio? Tunangoja opportunity itokee Nairobi, tukimbilie. Wangapi walienda shuleni ili waajiriwe? Wangapi walienda shuleni ili waajiriwe? Wote. So every time we change that mentality, that we went to school so that we are able to do what? Create jobs for ourselves and our communities. You earn more when you are a creator than when you are employed. So we have bosses sitting. How many bosses do we have? 160 bosses or job creators. Senior. 150 job creators. Potential job creators. So if, let's say from this point, if you are going to start a business and employ, let's say 12 individuals, who earns more? Leona, senior. Now ukikuwa employed for your business, so which place do you want to be? The creator. So we need to change that mentality that we go to school so that we get employed. That is the old narrative, the white collar system. Mtu anatoka, anataka kukaa kwa ofisi yake. How many opportunities exist? But if you look at the other side, opportunities need, you can pick your own niche. Hata mtu hawezi ikamia hapo kwa sababu wewe ndio unaelewa. Wewe ndio unaelewa. Sio? Do we have any competitor with the KFC? KFC? How many people are employed? So stop sitting on that potential. It's high time that you wake up and you utilize what God gave you. Senior, in this county, you'll be able to use the resources available so that you're able to realize your potential as a division. But you need to guide the county because we may be here, but we may not understand every need that is there for the young people. So 10 talks about coordination. So we want to develop an operational accounting M&D framework. An M&D framework will be able to support monitoring of all the interventions in this policy. So that at the end of the day, every year we'll be able to look at what have we achieved with regards to milestones that we have developed. If we say we are going to develop 10 youth apps, how many have we achieved across a span of 1 year? So that we as a citizen will be able to look at the county, assign achieve, and we'll be able to do it both for the county and for the stakeholders. Remember, when you are developing this policy, you are not developing this policy for the county alone. We also have partners that work within the youth project. So when they come to the county, the first document that you need to guide them on the priorities of the county will be the youth policy. Okay, okay, so we are able to, we are supposed to align to this particular priorities because those are the needs of the county. So for us to be able to look at also the stakeholder contribution and the achievements of our goal and objectives, we'll be able to use their harmonized tools so that we're able to also check the stakeholder contribution towards the achievement of the objectives. So we're also looking at developing and disseminating quarterly and annual reports so that we're able to look at our progress, then track and report youth development index, both at the county and also national. We're going to celebrate our achievements across. Approaches for the implementation of the policy, we are looking at right-based approaches where we consider that us looking at young people or addressing the needs of young people is not what? It's not a favor. We are addressing the needs of young people because it is their right. And kind of the constitution. You are in this meeting because it is your right to participate. If what affects your right. So you're looking at youth mainstreaming. All processes must also look at, are youths involved? Are they included? Are they represented? That is mainstreaming. When we are doing employment, when we are talking about procurement, when we are talking about planning, budgeting, monitoring, are youths part of those processes? What are the youth contribution? What are the youth participation in those processes? Professional approach. So when we are dealing with youth, we must look at professionalism. When we are providing training, it must be a professional training. Tested professional training. Whether it is apprenticeship, it must be tested and certified. Kama umekuwa training na una papers, tutaonyesha mtu aliye so all the process that we are looking at in this policy must have a certification process so that we are able to look at the education that this particular youth has skills in this particular field. Coordinated approach, so it must be coordinated. So I believe that is clear. Evidence-based and knowledge sharing. So everything that we do we must be able to see. Yeah. Evidence, yeah, we must show evidence that whatever we have been able to do, you So, how many youths were trained? You list. Trained on particular areas, youth orientation and co-creation. So, orientation is about aligning the interests of the young people. And co-creation meaning we have co-created together. They have participated in creating whatever we are looking at. Sustainable development is also an approach. That whatever you think we are thinking about is sustainable. 2 years, 3 years, or something that we can sustain. So resource mobilization is also a key because without resources, we will be able to implement. Without resources, we will be able to implement this policy. So we're also looking at resource mobilization as a key interest to ensuring that this policy is implemented. So the resources and support required for implementation of this policy shall be mobilized from public and non-state actors with the clear objective of strengthening their support and commitment as identified by the policy. So we are looking at non-state actors. We have youth serving organizations, we have NGOs, we have the private stakeholders, the business community, as critical stakeholders in ensuring that this policy is how majority of the employees the young people. So they must also be involved in shaping the future of young people in this country. Because they like the young people because of their knowledge. So what's up? So the information of the interventions and initiatives identified in this policy shall be supported through mobilization of monetary and non-monetary resources from county government, private sector, development partners, NGOs, FPOs, communities, individuals, among other stakeholders. All funding resources and strategies will require to balance between the short-term and long-term goals. A wider sector approach shall be adopted at county level in planning, budgeting, programming, implementation, monitoring, and regulation of youth initiatives. So we are looking at all resources available within the county and also within the stakeholders. So when we will be reporting a quarterly and annual timelines, we'll be looking at the stakeholder contribution in terms of resources. Geared towards youth empowerment. Gloria alikuwa anasema geared towards youth empowerment. How many youths were taken into apprenticeship programs by zone children? So that at the end of the day, our report will be able to reflect also stakeholder contribution and also the county contribution. Yeah. So that brings me to the end of the presentation. So at this point, I will be able to take in questions and yes, and reactions.
At least now you can see most, I won't say all, but most of your issues are connected. And so whatever is missing is what we want to add. heard from you. Now I want us to take a round of questions. We will take 5, and then we respond. We will respond as a technical working group, not in. So that kila mtu alitangia. So we will take a round of 5 questions to answer your commission. If there is any concern. Yes? Say your name and where you come from.
Good morning once again. My name is Godfrey Oyando. I am the chairperson of Citizen Convention, CBO, a youth serving and also youth-led community-based organization in Migori sub-county. Now, with the interest of time, this is a good policy, and we appreciate the for working group and the county government departments. One thing that we are so much interested in as a people is the aspect of introducing a replica of the youth fund. And specifically, we are very much on emerging trends because times are changing and we need to change how we do things. And by that, I would like to shift our focus to the target beneficiaries or the people who qualify. The classification of the people who now qualify for this youth fund. And I would like to recommend that apart from only documenting or looking at registered youth groups, because that's only what's mentioned, and we are likely to work with that if we don't look at it in the, and in this case suggesting that there is an emerging trend, especially if I may have an enterprise that has employed young people. The same way we have older people running youth serving organizations. And so if I would like to propose that we add enterprises, registered enterprises and companies, so as to be specific and also document the same. In this case, because group dynamics have proved in most programs to somehow have its own pair of challenges. And so that's what I would like to bring our attention to, that apart from only registered youth groups, we can also add, we have registered business enterprises or companies to also be able to benefit directly from this fund. Thank you.
Thank you. Another question?
Okay, good morning. My name is Kogola Devi. I represent Migori Youth Empowerment from Migori sub-county. I don't know, the person operating the slides, can you go back to number 9? That's where I have my question in regards to the youth engagement in environmental management for sustainable development. Also, if you go to SDG number 13, the climate change action, so you get that the county, I think, being that we are having this policy, and maybe young people are more creative in creating a lot of jobs. But the problem is on the end of whatever my friend has talked about, the youth fund, or maybe the financial resources. Can we make it something that is youthful, not youth at heart, whereby somebody pretends to be a youth at heart, and you get that maybe somebody who is somebody 60 years or 50 years is representing a youth, because there's something that we talk to as young people that they cannot understand. And based on the changing that is currently ongoing, you cannot understand what we need as young people. So for us to create the job opportunity that we are talking about, the creators, we cannot be creators if the elderly people are not supporting us. For example, giving us resources, the tend opportunities. Somebody from maybe college or Form 4, you are being told maybe for you to get a license to operate in the country, you need to give a license as the security. Where will you get the title deed, for example? Because all of us here are still maybe under our parents. So let's make it accessible, easily accessible to young people, if in fact it should be like the license rates should be differ for young people. If I want to start a business maybe in the county, how to obtain the license to operate should maybe reduce so that we can be more creators and even to start a company. Also the issues of the tax. Because for you to register a company, there's a lot of tax that you need to come away with. You need to pay. Where will you get that resources? So in this policy, it should be that categorically clear, so that it, and also that also the access to that resources is also very cheap and accessible. Thank you.
Yeah. Hi everyone. I'm Migori and I'm representing the issues of material social and mobility network. First, I'd like to congratulate you on having us on board. It's so crucial and I know each and everyone of us voices has been taken, and I'm sure every youth here has felt that it's valuable. So mine is just to ask you to improve objective 9 about how we are going to promote effective civic participation and participation among the youth. To make it, I urge you to make sure that you keep it the way you intend it, and make sure that you involve all the youths. And with us, we are going to keep this happen, and I'm sure because this is youth, this is because we are youths, and that's why we are here. We are going to make it part of us. Thank you.
My name is Megan. I come from Suez and in Australia with the work. There was a key point highlighted there in priority areas, and they were talking about agriculture. And I'm very concerned about agriculture, right? Because we don't have jobs, and therefore our shift would be to agriculture as an alternative. But now we are talking about agriculture, and there may be youth who are willing and able to venture into agriculture, but there are lands that they can use to do that. Is there a way that we have land somewhere, the idle lands, that they can take up that? And before then, you can also identify the youth who are willing and able, so that you take them through training on agriculture, the modern methods of doing agriculture, because agriculture also is the backbone of society. So let us make agriculture appealing to the youth, because otherwise they wouldn't find it appealing anyway. The government works, the county government works on grants and any other thing that can help them in the line of agriculture.
Yes, good morning once more. Yes, thank you very much. I was a gap in the policies being made. And there's this problem that always says, no matter how long time you take to see and watch how someone rides a bicycle, and you won't take a step to you yourself to train how to ride a bicycle, you won't know. And for sure, you as the stakeholders, or we as the stakeholders, or even the committee that started this, you can do this thing very well. But if we as the youth, as the stakeholders, we can't jump in and also concentrate, then we are making it for nothing. There's a mistake, I think maybe it is not a mistake, but maybe it is a gap on how we'll see the collaborative stakeholder analysis. How is it depicted there? The stakeholders collaborating analysis. It is not there. And if it is there, then I'm sorry. Maybe you can show us the stakeholders collaborating analysis. Then next, yes, we started well with the vision statement, and we went to the problem statement. After the problem statement, we're under the stakeholders, let us say manpower, how the stakeholders can share this equity and equality among themselves. Then, how how is the rapid mobilization going to be done without collaborative stakeholders analysis being depicted? That's my question.
Thank you. Let's answer that first, and then we take another one. Ukusema jina lako and organization.
Okay, so my name is Rigan Royo, representative from the Senate, Suna East Congo.
Thank you. Let's answer this one first, and then we take another answer. Let's start from our youth from the first. Let's distinguish the functions of accounting and the functions of national government. Revenue, or the Kenya Revenue Authority, is a police arm of the national treasury. They are the people who decide when to give tax amnesty, when to change the taxes. However, on the part of licensing fee, that's accounting function, that one can be looked at, and that's why you are doing. And as we are taking this policy, there will be implementation guidelines. This is just a broad-based document. After that, we will be taking one by one and seeing how it is being implemented. So, when we say we want to start our own youth funds, we are actually, once we establish our youth fund, there will be modalities on who qualifies and how much you can get. There is even that business category of an individual, not necessarily a company. You may not have registered a company, but you have an M-Pesa kiosk. Are you not in business? The problem with our youth, unless we face it head on, then we are not helping one another. Vijana wengi hapa wako na duka, lakini hawataki kukata license. You know, it can even be an exemption. You are given something to show the license, but like me now, as a disabled person, I can apply the parent license free. I've given it on me. So, but you have a license. You cannot go to a financial institution if you are in business and your business has no license. You waste not a person. So, and the sources of these funds are so many. Sisi ndio tunatakiwa kujipanga. Like I'm so sure my colleague has just left. We have a proposal of training around 200 youth before the end of this month on agro. We'll be having those people from agro coming to train you people. Those who will be there. I know not all of you will be there. So we are also, on top of that, we are also working with the people of fisheries. You know the program we have fisheries in India. So there are some youth here who are involved. You know, we are involving youth in a wide range of activities. Like in that fisheries program, there are several sectors of youth, like transporting, fish feeds. Those was supplying. And when we find a youth on kisima, kama ile kidimbwi, anataka kuweka samaki, Sarah has been one of those who have been based in those years. She's from the technical working. So we are getting youth at all sectors, except in Atagamea, you are interested in technical work. Like I keep asking some youths when we are engaging them informally. Why do our mothers every Monday and Thursday leave to Darajambini in Kisi to get involved, to come and sell to us? One said she's interested in agriculture. We have a lot of land around that is not utilized. So last mashamba hiyo yako ndio you can raise. Unaona? So sio lazima tuko na shamba iko kwa jina lako, that's when you can do farming. Farming is done. And by the way, those who are coming from your mind, tunatoka hapa tunakuja kuweka kile na nyinyi mko huko. What have you done? Because the lake, hakuna mtu ako na title deed ya lake. Umeweka keji pale alafu ukafukuzwa. Wacha nibakie hapo kwanza. Migori, you can tackle what I'm not doing.
There is the fact that was asked by my friend. Remind me your name.
Kogola.
Kugola.
Yeah.
There was a bit that was asked by Kugola about youths are struggling about licensing, something like that. They want to start a business and licensing and so forth. That part is actually tackled very well in Chapter 4. Objective 11 has actually defined the activities on how we are going to tackle that. At that level, Objective 11 is where we have proposed the youth fund. We have proposed to the county government of Migori through this policy that we need a startup capital of 50 million. And this 50 million will be able to go to the young people who want to start businesses. And again there, in the policy there, it is well stipulated and well captured that those who are going to start new businesses, the ones that we train and give up a startup capital, we will give them 1 year grace period just to do business like that. We will not charge them. So it is well captured, Bola. If you go through Objective 11 on Chapter 4, your concern is addressed by the policy.
So that's why we should pass this policy so that we can, because we are talking about out of experience.
Before we leave, we are getting more copies.
And again, because I already have your numbers, some of you have the email, I'll be able, the technical officer will be able to send you the soft copy so that you go over it, so that before 24th, any other way, any other place that you want us improved, we'll be able to improve and make it better, so that we have a document that is actually embraced by all of us.
Sarah, you wanted to respond to...
Okay, I just want to tell you, I know the youth fund is a very nice one. Everybody wants to, we want to rely on, I mean, to talk about youth funds a lot. But I want to also tell you that you'll be called again to talk about youth fund, because it has to be an act for it to be effective in the Migori County. So this policy just touches all the aspects of the youth for now. And then by then when the director will come, now 50 million is supposed to be given, but for it to be effective, the youth fund of Migori County has to be an act, which now it has to have its own policy. Thank you. That's all I just wanted to add.
Okay, I wanted to address 2 areas. One is to look at defining youth. Cynthia, remember when you're defining youth, you're not defining youth as Migori. We are using the universal definition of youth. Cynthia, chapter 34. You're no longer youth. So we'll be able to create mechanisms to ensure that we'll be able to block any interest that is above the target. So our youths benefit. So the other thing that we also wanted to address is stakeholder analysis. So we are very sorry that within the organization we don't have stakeholder analysis. But looking at the bigger policy, we actually look at each and every stakeholder and their contribution. And we have really done what we call SWOT analysis. So looking at the strengths within Migori County, the threats, the opportunities that are there.
And there's something there before the SWOT, because the SWOT is helping us now to rearrange the collaborating stakeholders analysis. When we look at the SWOT and the approaches for implementing the policies and also the resources mobilization, those they help to restructure and withdraw and restructure again on how the stakeholders collaborating analysis can well be seen. Because it is the first thing when we want to go, maybe when we want to do any other thing, we check. On the stakeholders collaborating analysis, they release all the most supportive in this group, who are they? Or the least influential and the most influential, who are they? It is not well depicted. Yes, what is clearly shown, but that is not it.
Is there in the policy? If there is a policy,
Thank you so much for raising such a good question. First of all, I want to just agree that this work has taken a long time. And even as what we are going to do, we are very proud that we are leaving something behind. And we are very happy that the youth that are coming after us are going to have a document that they can make a difference to. And they can also appreciate that there are people who existed before and they were able to do something that can guide them as a roadmap towards achieving youth development in this country. As we sat down, initially, you heard Mr. Masala say that this journey started during Corona. And even meeting was a problem. People would meet at 6 in the morning and then by 9, you go home, you go straight, you're not even needed anyway in town. Everybody is at home. So the stakeholders that participated in this particular inception phase, there was a very clear roadmap and a clear guideline on who and who were part of this. There was business community, there were everybody, youth serving organizations, from the government department, from the FBOs, from the Ministry of Health, from the Ministry of Education, all of them were involved. So if you look at the reports that have been developed prior to the presentation of this particular document that we are looking at today, there are those stages, there are those steps. And for a policy, some of these things will also be projected at once. So we say when we are starting that this is just a snapshot of what is entailed in the bigger policy. The stakeholder analysis that we're talking about is a very critical step that needs to be captured. But then we cannot just take you through all that process. We're only here for Africa. At the end of it, we will all be going. And we have said that all the stakeholders were involved. Not just a few of us. We are less than the number that participated in this. Most of them were busy because this was on a short notice. That we need to run away with this thing and make sure that it becomes a legitimate document that will facilitate the development of the youth in this town. So just bear with us that probably it was not presented here, but it is within this particular document. And I'm very happy that at least there is a youth who knows how some of these things should be done. And when they're not done the right way, you are going to, I'm waiting for him so that he gets this. Yeah. So I'm happy that at least there is someone or the other people who also thought the same, but maybe they didn't get the courage to raise it up. But it becomes very exciting that there are people that can actually question things when they're not happening the right way. So thank you so much for raising that, and I believe that it will be provided for when it is deemed fit. So before I sit down, I also had some concerns. Most of these that were raised were just recommendations. I didn't hear a more elaborate question like that one of these that needed elaborate explanation. But the majority of what you raised were just recommendations on what should have appeared here and not here, or what should be appearing in the next complete document. I had one person talking about involvement of youth in civic participation. How many of us participated in the just concluded public participation for budget estimates? How many participated? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They're not even 20, but they're more than 20 here. So how do you want to be involved in participation? This is just the most recent one. And you are not even asked to pay money to participate. Were you asked to pay money to participate? No, you are not. It was in the local dailies. Everybody else was asked to participate. And this is a budget that talks about everything that everybody needs to to know. It talks about the young people, it talks about the women, it talks about persons with disability, but then we do not participate. So how is everyone involved in participation? If there is an open forum for you to participate, you lose. And you demand to be involved. How do you get involved? Do we whip you from your homes to come and participate? No, we cannot. But once it is in the local dailies and it is announced in the radio, we believe that everybody has gotten information. So perhaps that information is what you should be asking. That we don't have information on how to do what? To participate, not that we are not involved. So I want to get that right. So let us talk about maybe not getting information, but the information is also not there. It is you who is not looking for it. Article 31 of the Constitution talks about access to information. It is your right to access information, to impart it. In fact, it is your right to say, not that the information should be brought to you. The Constitution talks about it is your right to seek for that information, it is your right to get that information, and it is your right to impart that information. Sitting on that information once you got it is also wrong. I will give you an opportunity, sir. Just wait. We talk about agriculture. That is very key for this particular county. Agriculture is our backbone. So many of us are thriving because of agriculture. But the question is, the youth do not have land. But our parents have land. Why can't we partner with our parents so that we acquire this land? If you don't have money for this, we can talk to our parents to give us a section of this land to have agriculture. So there is no room for escape, there is no room for excuses. We have resources, but we want to be pushed to use these resources. So this particular policy, even as we look at it, we are going to have the major responsibility to make sure that it works. It is not going to sit in a shelf somewhere and you think it will work for you. You will have to be involved, you will have to push for it to work so that it brings the change that you want to see as a young person. The first speaker in the morning talks about the youth changing this generation. So it is not going to change when we leave documents in the shelves. We will demand for the implementation, but only if we rise up and say that we want this document to work because of these outlines. We sat in a public participation and we agreed that this document is going to work on 1, 2, 3 priorities, but it has not. So we will demand to know why it has not worked. But nobody will come at your doorstep and ask you, so do you know that that thing is not working? So that is the kind of involvement we are talking about. Then finally, the license issue that we are talking about. Unilazima, because how else will we secure even the loans, or even the funds, even the grants that we're giving you if you do not have a license? So here, the only thing we can talk about is a subsidized amount that is favorable, that is affordable, that is accessible to a young person. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Please, I have a request. Tupatie pia wengine. Kama umeongea mara mbili tatu, patia wengine. And then, public participation has a timetable. Yes. Haiendaki mpaka jioni. So, like yesterday, we were in one of the reviewing the sports policy from the national office. So, kuna masaa. So we should be completed. Kila tutawaomba, we are giving you a number and an email where if your views will not have been heard here, you can deliver what you feel needs to be added. Sawa? So that nobody is left out. Sawa? So we do another round of 5. Najua huko tumetoka. Tunarudi huko. Kwa sasa tuende hivi.
Good afternoon. My name is Bernard Otembo. I work at Youth in Kenya. I serve as the youth senator in Migori County. I really love the discussion actually, and this is my comment. First, I want to appreciate Mr. Chairman and the team, the technical working for ensuring that we have a document. For now, we are somewhere. Before I speak, we are somewhere, from nothing to somewhere. So we want to speak that we want to say we are somewhere and we want to go further than where we are. Now, these are my concerns. One is that if I hear my colleagues speaking, there is a question of how. I remember I was taught when I was in my college campus, there is one husband and 5 wives.
and there is what, why, who, there is how here, and it's not clear. So the how that is not clear is when we check on policy intervention. What is specific? For example, we need to know specific intervention whereby, let me say this. We have 400,000 youth in Migori as per 2019 census. Around 400,000 if you are right, if I'm right. There is this thing that how many youths will we reach in year 1? That is 2025 December. Out of 400,000 youths, ni wangapi ambao watakuwa wame-benefit from the policy? How about year 2? How about year 3? How about year 4? So this one, when it is clear, we have a number and we have a target, and quarterly we meet and we review if we have met the target or we have not met the target. So that is my concern. And again, I would really love that we get the work plan. If I think this is my thought, sorry, that we get the work plan now, all of us in the email, we review, then we come back again. Because this thing, we will be out vague. We will be out of this place with no clarity. I represent all the youth in Migori County. There is somebody who represents all the youth in Suna West, in their ticket. What are you going to tell your youth back at home? You tell them the plans are good, so what? Yeah, you will tell them, there is this. I did a baseline survey. I'm doing projects. I'm a social worker by profession. I did a baseline survey in 2022 on challenges affecting youth, and I thank Mr. Chairman here. We got a funding from Denmark that we implemented a program called Migori Micro Enterprise Development Support for youth, and we gave seed capital. But now, we had figures and we knew areas of intervention that we need to take because the baseline survey has a clear picture. Now, I really request that let's get something at the back end that we don't see. Let's see. Please, let's see the implementation matrix. Let's get everybody a copy, everybody a summary. We set a deadline, we get back here. Then we tell you guys now this is what, because it is us affected, it is our colleagues affected. We want to ensure that voiceless youth, that young person in the marginalized community, kule mtu ako na ticket, akiambo, mwenye alewi chochote kuhusu kazi, mwenye alewi chochote kuhusu kazi yake, anajua what is going on, anajua what is there for her, anajua how the county government, and the government, kuchila yako, is affecting or positively impacting her life, akiwa wapi, mashambani, si kweli? So let's all open our hearts, let's open our mind, and let's be open to get all these documents on time, because we are Gen Z, and you know what I want to say. If something is not clear, we will not be affected. I was in the African Youth Commission meeting last 2 weeks ago, and we were talking climate change. I'm one of, I represent Kenya in the African Youth Commission, and we were talking about climate finance and climate mitigation measures. And I realized that we young people, we are also affected. So we have a lot of ideas. These are bright boys and girls here. They are men who are educated, and they have a lot of ideas. If you give them space, if you give them time, and we review all these documents, and we come into a consensus, we'll have a perfect document that will even benefit our future children. Thank you.
Thank you. Sasa nimepea nafasi dakika moja. Tutakuwa tayari. Ndio. Muda alafu.
I'm called Emma from Rome, no, I from Matambo. Let me begin by saying thank you to the department that have come up with this particular program. Indeed, you've done so far a good job. Now, let me connect with to the Kashmir 2010. When the Kenyan passed it, there were problems here and there, particularly in the county government, because the county government had not been given a priority or power, because we wanted the common minority do not to feel that they are part and parcel of care. According to the document, in brief, the one that we just carried there. Now, I'm coming to ask myself, almost 99% are good, and they are going to work for you, but all implemented. But what are the modalities that are going to be used to ensure that they are implemented? Number 2, as I conclude, Mr. Chair, the best part of it is youth development fund. It is good, yes, indeed. But how we should be dispersed or distributed among our youth within Migori County. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I would request
One and a half.
I would first of all want to thank the technical work. You have done an amazing work. I think it covers almost everything. But I only have input that I would like to capture in the document. Number 1, is it possible to specify the policy intervention section? Ask, what is the role of government? What have we achieved so far? Because before 2019, there were achievements, right? And what is that? What do we need to add? That's the first thing. I like what she talked about the Youth Fund Act, because that will answer my second question. What will the Youth Fund Act finance? What percentage will come from the national government? What percentage will come from the county government? What is the strategy of raising funds? Are we raising funds from Denmark and what is the fund going to be used for? That is the second. Thirdly, how many bills do we intend to adopt from the policy intervention section? How many bills? Because if we are going to talk about this policy intervention, they must be translated to bills so that they are actionable. So how many are we talking about? There is a section on resource mobilization that I was seeing, just 30 seconds, I've seen you talk about 2.5% being used or being raised from the annual budget to finance the activities of the youth, or to finance this policy. What is the total revenue of the Migori County? And why 2.5%? Why can't we talk about 10%? Why are we doing it?
Thank you. Even what we have as county from the national government is 15%. There must be a baseline. Yes. As we stand in, we are going to hear by the chief officer in charge of youth affairs. So, as we talk now, you know, you are said.
Greetings. Having worked with also the parliamentary part for the implementation of the PWD Act, and also for the Migori University for the Leadership Act, that is another category of the leadership that we have to implement. Allow me categorically say the following. I would like the policies that we are trying to implement work also on the diversity of what we have in the current economy. I've seen we are acting about ICT hubs. What about the textile hubs? I've done more monitoring in the county about the textile hub. Let's say, for example, we have 350,000 youths in Migori County. Not all of us will fall to the ICT. What if you come up to the textile hub? Textile hub will work in this way. You bring the youth and upskill them. We are talking about development of skills. What about youth upskill? And also, we are told that an hunter who comes home with a house and thief. What if We mitigate all these resources that we have and sustain ourselves as a country. And the question that we have is how we have given the policy. Some of them have gathered on, but how comes the question.
Thank you. I think we can handle that please before we give our chief officer to Peter. Let's handle that part of the questions. And I want to give a disclaimer before I give the question. This is a broad-based approach on how we are going to tackle this issue. It's not the direct solution. Someone asked about the legislation thereof after the policy. Yes, there must be the youth fund. There must be an act and regulations to make the same. It's not just a matter of and it's just going to that operation. There must be operationalization, staff who have run the same, monitoring and evaluation. You saw it said we must have an officer in charge. So there must be someone responsible who will be telling us this is what we plan to do in your one. There must be an implementation matrix, which was in the original document, which the copies we are giving you Mutawana. That's why we say whatever we will not have said here and you feel was left out, you are still allowed to give us that what you want to give us. So let me allow my colleagues to answer.
Yes, I take the part of the youth serenity benefit. I think I'm now very conversant with youth. We come from the same world. But Chief, as you're now here, we welcome you so much. Director, we also welcome you so much. Chief, this, ladies and gentlemen, came very early in the morning. The brave, the rainy weather, and they were here. By the time I was arriving, over 39 were already seated, and I was overwhelmed. Kwanza na kumpatia pongezi. To clap for yourself. Mjaribu. Number two, I want to answer the part of the roadmap that Bernard asked about. Bernard, there is a roadmap that has been developed up to Mefika that there is a public participation. There are processes that came before this. There are very many of them. Preparation of the draft, stakeholders engagement, expert review of the draft, first cabinet engagement, public notice that was just placed on the Gazette, public participation that is today. In fact, yesterday we were meeting the cabinet to brief them on the document. And I'm so pleased that they embraced the document. There is also, we are meeting the county assembly on Monday, also to brief them. After we prepare the final draft, we'll also give it to you. And then we do the launching of the draft. We'll still call you to do a very wonderful launching. And in the launching, we'll do with a bigger number. I have seen that the young people are very eager to meaningfully change this county. That we don't take for granted. We take it with a lot of consideration. There is also my friend, the president of Mount Kenya University. He's the leader of just stand up, I recognize you. The gentleman from Rongo, your president of Mount Kenya University. And they said you are very seriously. You asked of the modality, someone asked of the modality of the youth fund. Chapter 4, Objective 11 is where the youth fund has been outlined. And the modalities have been outlined very well on how it is actually going to work out. And we still believe there will be a bill that will actually be done by our assembly. The assembly are very receptive of this policy, and I know they're going to embrace it. The rationale is there, the targeted group is there, the packages are there, the criteria of grant allocation is there, the implementation framework, the legal implications, the budget implications, and the outcome on page 39 and page 40 of this document. I told you that Jeff is already working to send you this document in soft copy. By the time you're leaving here, Jeff, I believe you've started sending them kila mtu apate copy, asome, because we want their input on this. We want them to own this input. The young people, this is your document. This is your document. This document will give you a voice. This document will place you at the negotiating table. This document will place you at the leadership position. I want us to actually take it seriously. Thank you, and maybe another, my friend can also answer some other parts that he captured.
I want to talk about the modalities of policy implementation. So before I start, we need to understand the policy development process. So policy is a general guideline that we want to take up as a county to be able to effect the changes that we need for this county. Okay. So it will be able to guide every other stakeholder, not only the county, but all other stakeholders, players, who are interested in empowering young people. So for us to be able to implement a policy, we need a particular sentence that we also need. So we need to have bills, no bills, yes, because policy is not a legal document, it's a guiding document. So bills are the ones that we are supposed to table before the assembly, for them to be adopted as acts. So acts also need to have regulations so that we are able to understand and clearly implement those particular acts. So acts become more legal, a legal document than a policy. So if we look at it critically, we would look at Migori County. Yes, a starting point is us having a policy and a guideline. That we need to look at the areas that we need to, that we have priorities on as a county to be able to address in regards to youth empowerment. Then the next step will be able to now look at how do we implement this policy. Which areas are our priorities for us to be able to have bills developed for? How's that? So we'll be able to develop those bills, and I believe and I pray through the office of the chief officer that we will be able to involve youths when we are developing those particular bills, so that their interests are also covered. So part of this policy development process, we also develop what we call the costed action. But remember, we are not here to discuss the costed action. We are here to discuss the policy. Because when we have approved the policy, then we will also be able to look at the costed action plan. We cannot look at the costed action plan because without looking at the approved policy. Look well. Let us have the policy, support the policy to be adopted, so that we can have now a greater opportunity to look at how do we implement this policy. How do we bring this policy to respond to the small things that we are talking about. Because remember, even as we develop this policy, we are not clear on where the resources will be coming from. We are only looking at the stakeholders, the county government, the private sector players, but we are not actually aware of how much resources will be available to the national government. That's all. But the policy becomes a bigger tool for fundraising. Senior, because we have a policy, stakeholders coming into the county will be able to now look at which particular priorities do they want to respond to. Senior. So it's a shopping basket for us as a county. That even influencing the county government to be able to allocate resources will depend on how the policy is aligned to the priorities that we need to address for the young. So let us look at this as a shopping basket. Secondly, dispensation of fund. We have to develop a regulation that will be able to look at how do we identify the young people to be able to benefit from the youth fund. And I believe it will be part of the processes of developing the regulations. So let us get interested so that we can be involved in every other aspect. apps. So if you're able to look, if we look at the implementation framework, there are different other apps that we have proposed. That even in agriculture, we have apps that are particularly looking at how to build capacity of young people to take up agriculture as a business. So for this particular platform, let us now look at the policy and maybe get feedback and be able to support us in strengthening the policy so that even in general terms, it looks at every other aspect that we wanted to address.
In summary, this policy is supposed to explain the youth issues across all the sectors. That's the main objective. Because you have seen, it's in agriculture, it's in ICT, especially it's in factory, it's in education. So, the focal person will be the youth development office. However, activities for youth are cross-cutting. You will find them everywhere. So now, because we measure public participation takes half day, and our time is already up. We are going to take the last round of questions, and then tutamaliza. So pande hii kuna swali kama kuna comment, tulikuwa tumefika sasa. Can you take the chances? Well, yes.
Good afternoon. I'm Michael Oluwat from Migori, Southern Africa. I just want to ask, we have a learning committee for this, that if we can implement sections in every ward within our locality, we can have officers that are leading specifically for this, the youth fund. Like Madam many understand this clearly by saying that we have right to access the information, but when you go to the ground, this information is not there. And in fact, I walked all along coming here just to listen to what she has said.
Thank you, thank you. Last one from a lady. A lady with a burning issue. Hakuna, asante. You know, sometimes I was younger than you. Because of the same. So, any response from the concern? Okay.
So we are looking at integration. Remember, youth mainstreaming is not about splitting. It's about including youths in all other processes. So when we're talking about youth fund, we are talking about youth fund integrated within the other government process.
I asked in the policy, in chapter 7, there is an allocation of 2.5 for finance.
Yes.
Yes. So my question is, this 2.5 is 2.5 of what?
The annual budget.
It's of the annual budget of the country, of the county. Then how much is it? And is it sufficient? Can we increase it to 5%?
Right.
Or even 10?
Yes. Thank you. Now, I don't want us to imagine that before this policy, there was nothing going on about the youths. This policy wants to add more flesh and give a clear direction, something more precise and more direct to youth affairs, besides whatever interventions have still been existing in our budgets. So for example, our education budget, okay? We have bursaries we've been paying, the bursaries we're paying to our students in vocational training colleges. If you took exactly the money that's dedicated to youth affairs versus your total budget, you realize we already passed 30%. We already passed 30%. It's only that because it's not very spelled out clearly, you may think as a youth outside there that nothing is happening for you from our departments. Maybe that figure is a baseline for what every department should at least have, maybe as a minimum, on an initiative that is directly focusing on the policy trying to address. But ordinarily, where we sit here, there are so many youth intervention mechanisms in our budget that are happening in health, in reproductive health. There are so many. I may not actually mention all of them, but we're even way past the 2.5% that we are talking about here. So that notwithstanding, I am only happy as a person because these forums have not been there earlier on, where we could sit down and reason together on how best we can interact, support each other, and even form decisions in the issues that are affecting us directly. This is just the beginning. I know you will dream as big as what we are also dreaming. But at one point, I know the definition of who a youth is was given to you. It is placing me outside that bracket by more than 6 years now. But I still feel I'm youthful. A kid in the ECD classroom, I think by UNESCO and whatever, sometimes they also feel, and they're also in the bracket of the youth. So this train is big and it's accommodating very many of us. We only need to make it so much good so that the impact we are trying to derive here can be felt in a bigger way. I'm not starting a new talk actually. Allow me bring our sub-county admins before I bring my chief. I'm told they need a time to introduce themselves. And just say one word. As far as auditors are Thank you. They're allowing me to skip them. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Now, at this point, Jaja, allow me now in a special way to bring to you our chief officer. This department is called the Department of Education, Youth, Sports, Gender Inclusivity, and Culture. We have 2 chief officers and 1 waziri. Waziri is not feeling well. She really intended to be here, but she's not feeling well. Chief officer that is here with us, the chief officer for education, youth, and sports. We have another chief officer, Professor Rose, that is there for gender inclusivity, social services, and culture. So many, together with me, welcome our chief to come and say a word to all of us.
Thank you very much, Director, our sub-county administrators, the team leaders for the youth from the various sub-counties. Good afternoon. My name is Rosie Otero, the Chief Officer in charge of Education, Youth and Sports in Migori County. First of all, I want to appreciate you people for taking the time out of your very busy and normal schedules that you have otherwise had this morning to come and participate in this very important policy document that we are preparing for the county youths, so that the county government can engage the youths positively, productively, and progressively. This document is going to be very crucial for us to ensure that the mass of the youths in Migori County are catered for in various aspects. I know the youths are involved in various activities. Some are in agricultural sectors, others are in the health sectors, the ICT, education. We are all multi-sectoral. And that's why this document has been approached in a multi-sectoral way, so that we cater for each and everyone. If there is anywhere that we have not catered for, that's the reason that we are having this plenary, so that we can have as much input as possible. His Excellency the Governor is passionate about the youth activities in this county, and he has really appreciated the youths in this county, so because they've not been involved in advanced activities,
like we are seeing in other counties, isn't it? Yeah, so he has a message that he shall also give. At the end of this activity, or the process that we are having, we'd like to have a youth convention. Would that be all right? Yes. A youth convention in this county, so that he meets all the youths and we will tell him this part that we have come with this policy document, he will launch it, and this document is the one that is going to raise funds for us. Because after this, we are going to do a bill which all of you will be involved in. After that, when it's passed, it shall be taken to the assembly, and then they legislate upon it so that it becomes an act. We shall also do regulations, especially in critical areas like the youth fund that we are talking about. So in fact, that part is very critical for us so that we are able to fundraise for our youth in the county. Even as we are doing the budgeting, for us to put money in that fund account, it needs legislation, isn't it? So that's why we want to work day and night to ensure that this document is dealt with and is passed in both the cabinet and in the county assembly. So without taking much time, I know I don't want to stand between you and your lunch and your other schedules. I want to thank you very much for coming up with this document, those people who participated in it. The cabinet yesterday met and they said it's a very good document. So I want to encourage you, even when you get back home, anything that you thought about after this, please bring it to our office so that we put it in there, isn't it? And also, we want to encourage the youths. Many times it's been said that the youths are the futures of tomorrow. Is it something like that? It keeps on, you are the future of tomorrow. But this tomorrow does not come, isn't it? Yes. So the best way is to empower you people. Yeah? To empower you people economically, socially, politically, so that you become the real leaders, isn't it? One time, about 30 years ago, I think I was a youth, like yourselves. But now I'm a leader, isn't it? So it is possible that one day you'll also become a leader, isn't it? Like the president, you know, all of you people, the ladies. Unfortunately, the ladies, we still have to fight for our space. Did you hear him say, the ladies come up to our mama, the ladies, very specials. Now, yes, you know, it's like, no. Very fast, yes, he's passing the ladies very fast. So, this is your time. If a ladies is on this seat, it is your time, you ladies, isn't it? Come and take your space. And this is the document that will enable you to take your space, isn't it? So we want you to work hard wherever you are. Yeah, we want you to be good students. We want you people to take care of your health and also take care of your mental faculty, isn't it? Yeah, because we've known recently how young people are taking their lives because of frustrations here and there. But we want you guys to be of stable mind so that we have a county that has youths who are of stable mind. Otherwise, without taking much time, ladies and gentlemen, I want to say thank you very much. I don't know if you're closing this meeting, but you will allow me to leave because you're heading elsewhere, isn't it? We shall engage you more and more because we have your leaders at the sub-county who we shall be disseminating information to them over time. And this is not the first meeting we're going to have with the youth. We're going to have youth meeting every now and again. If we can decide, it can be half-yearly, it can be quarterly, how we shall decide, isn't it? Yeah, so that we are one team under Migori County government, under the leadership of His Excellency Dr. Ochino Aya. Can you give him a round of applause? Thank you very much. May God bless you. I think now we are going to close this meeting. May I take this opportunity to close this very, very important meeting this afternoon. God bless you.
I think I'm a copy of it. No, you have a lot of time.
And His Excellency,
and one you to pray for us.
For you people, isn't it? Is there?
One you to pray for us.
The lady now, lady.
Let me just give a clear way for now. I'm going to deal with you. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that we invited from
ladies and gentlemen are invited through the sub-county means. We will, after the chief has left, I'll give the order in which you are going to see my office. Let us allow the chief to go to attend to the very important event in Awendo, plus the other team, so that we can remain behind the Yasaka, tukipanga maneno ingine.
Thank you so much. Afternoon once again. My name is Migori I am happy and privileged to be part of the technical working group that sat down and had the first draft of this policy. And today I want to say that I am so happy for the leadership to avail themselves here, even as we validate this document and prepare for its implementation going forward. It has been a journey, and we thank God that the Lord has worked with us. And today we are having the realization of something that we thought about and put our efforts into, and also dedicated our time. And thank you so much for the support that we received from you, from the director, from the county, and even from the governor himself. With his grace, I know that this thing is going to see the light of the day, and it's not going to just be a document you mentioned. There is a quote going on that Kenya is known for making the best policies, but these policies never see the light of the day. Implementation become a challenge. So I want us to commit to this through the leadership, that this is going to be one of the policies that is going to be implemented in realization of the youth development in this particular county, and is going to form a roadmap for even the next generation coming even after us. So thank you so much, my fellow youth, for availing yourselves, even to participate in this particular important meeting. Thank you so much for the leadership of the county, and I want to say I'm grateful for this opportunity, even to say thank you so much and to give my vote of thanks. Sorry again, but sometimes that's how it works, isn't it? You know, when you're seeing the accounts, now you retracted the letter now take over. Now allow me to introduce our CEC in charge of education, youth, sports, gender, culture, social, and inclusivity. None other than a lady. You ladies. So ladies, this department is led by ladies. Our CC is a lady, our lady professor is a lady, isn't it? Yes. Now the men. Ensure this policy works for all of us, isn't it? Allow me to welcome the CC in charge of education, with sports and gender, to give us a small address because she's also heading to another activity. Thank you.
My name is Jahajo Mungwana. So sorry for that. And as it has been said by my able chief officer, I'm in charge of all that. And I want to thank you so much for coming. Hi. So apologies, I may not know your names, but for me, if you see me on the streets or anywhere, or even in my office, it is always open to talk with you. Knock and introduce yourself. A very good memory, and never forget. When you tell me my name is so-and-so, I'll always call you by your name when we meet. I'm multitasking because of the nature of the department. I was also not in my best health, but I chose to come just to even say hi. Say hi and encourage you that this is yours, this policy is yours, it's for our generations. Agencies ni wangapi hapa? Agency imekuja? Ama ni mamodeli wamekaa hapa? Ama generation X? Agency mpapa? This is your thing. This is your thing. And we want to encourage you that anything you need, any recommendations, any adjustments, your doors are open. Before we move to the next stage. This is what will help us to empower the youth category and we also in charge of youths. Ama mlikuwa mnataka tuweke tunasema years? Hapo. So it's a department that is very considerate through His Excellency, Ochia Yako. He cares for everyone. Yesterday we had the PWD. Today we have the youth. So we are not leaving anyone behind. And his assurance, and you have been told by the chief officer that he's following on what we are doing. He's very passionate about the youth. He's a father of Gen Zs. You know that? So when your father is in charge, he's in control, and he cares, and he doesn't want to leave anyone behind, we can say that we're going down here blessed, isn't it? So sitaongea mengi, but nimewapatia nyinyi wote. Kabisa, eh? Yes. And if there's anything that you feel that we need to move, I'm not shy, not only concerning this policy. You know, when we have ladies around, we have gracious ladies, we have prof, then we have all these men, we have all ages in the department. Please, tunasema hapa ndipo nyumbani. Hapa ndio mmefika. Hapa ndio kwa mlango kila mtu atawasikiza. Sasa, lakini ningeomba tu msamehe kwa leo. Sitaongea mengi. I have a very competent team behind me, which makes us be the best setters in this county in the Department of Education, Gender, Sports, Youth, Social Services and Inclusivity, because we have the ability, we have the vision, we have the mission to accomplish, and our mantra is service delivery to everyone, leaving no one behind. Sasa, karibuni sana, na mkiniruhusu, nitawaomba mniguse niondoke. Kile mtu na mama anawajali. Anawajali. Simekisha kwa mama ni wote.
Kabisa.
Yeah, then when they will believe you will take your seat.
We continuously ask you, Father, that you also give us the grace, the understanding, the mercy, and your goodness to follow us up to the end of this place, Father, so that you see its success. One, give us peace, give us very mercy. Protect us, sustain us for your glory in Jesus' name.
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon once more. We have a categories of people invited from all the states and counties. We have the people invited from the sub-counties and even in the wards. We have our friends, the content creators. We have a gentleman at Agena Digital. We also have the technical working group. We also have the sub-county admins. I will want to begin from the farthest end, Nyateke, followed by Kuya East. So I want to start with Nyateke. You will come to my office with your admin, and then followed by
Nyatike, followed by PAPs, followed by There are also our friends in IT, ICT in Mtaniona wa Mwisho. They are also our staff in Mtaniona ya Mwisho.
Welcome.